Hi everyone, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video. So today's topic is going to be about brushes and techniques that I use to contour with. So in general, I contour with a cream product. I have a lot. I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta Duo today, but there's a lot of other ones that I like. The Danessa Myricks Power Bronzer and the Makeup by Mario, the new cream, I think he calls it a enhancer. Anyways, this thing, but you know, none of those products matter unless you have down your technique and you have a good brush or some kind of tool to apply it with, because it can go really bad really quick, and I've been there. So I've come very far since my beginning days of using bronzer and contour, and I know there's a lot of advice out there that you should use a gray tone to contour. That's not necessarily true. I know in theory it makes sense. I just know for me in particular, I've tried products like that. They're extremely unflattering on my skin tone. It makes me look just kind of sickly, you know, like it's just not flattering for me. So I've pretty much just used cream bronzer or powder bronzer to contour with. All right, so let's get down to the brushes that I wanted to talk about. I have 4 cream contour or cream bronzer brushes that I really like. Some of these are like longtime favorites and some of these are a little bit newer. And then I have a few powder bronzer, powder contour brushes. I'm going to just say contour because that's kind of what I'm you know, trying to explain today, even though I use bronzer. So okay, we'll just say contour. All right, so let's start out with the first brush, and this is a fairly new one, and I've been talking about this recently, and I really like this brush to apply cream contour with. This is the Tanseido YWS 14T. It's made of tea-dyed goat hair, and these brushes are pretty unique to the brand Tanseido. I don't know any other company that makes brushes like this, like with this really, you know, severe angle. And you know, technically you're not supposed to use this type of hair for cream products, but I am, and I just love it. I love how flexible, I use it on this side, I love how flexible these hairs are, and so it's very comfortable, and I don't have to worry about the brush picking up my base makeup. And that's a big concern of mine because I cover up a lot, especially in the, you know, contour area. And so that's why I've been loving this, and I love how pointed it is. You can get into like the hairline, you can get under the jawline really easily, and this has just been yeah, one of my most exciting finds in a long time. And I'll mention a couple of longtime favorites, and I've been talking about these for a while. One is the Mizuho MB113. This, if you're on a budget, is an amazing brush for contouring with cream products. It's, I believe, with the exchange rate, maybe like in the $30 range. It's made of I believe this is Soko goat hair. It's pretty firm and it's a pretty dense brush. So this is going to apply your cream product a little bit more heavily, but I like how it has that slight angle to get into this area. And I also use this for foundation. It's a really good foundation brush. I believe that's what this is made for, but it makes an amazing cream contour brush as well. Another one I've been using for some time is the Sonia G Mini Base, and you can use the classic base, but this one, if you're really trying to contour, because it's smaller than the classic base, it's really good for getting into little areas like this, getting into the hairline and here. So yeah, this is a really great beginner's brush as well. You know, Sonia G is going to be really well made, and I believe these are available, you know, it might not be. So no, this one's a little bit harder to get your hands on because it's out of stock pretty often. And then another one that it's been a favorite for a little while is the Koyudo Yoshiki Cheek Brush. And this is just such a great all-around cream makeup brush for contour as well as blush. It does cream blush really well. In fact, I'm going to use this to apply my cream blush right now just so you guys can see. And this one, I believe, is under, don't quote me on this, but I believe this is now under $30. This is such a deal if you can get it at that price, because it is really an underrated brush. It doesn't look like much. It's, you know, pretty light, and the hairs aren't the softest, but when you start using it and washing it, it really fluffs up and it becomes softer and it becomes such a joy to use. And I know it's good for powders. I just haven't used it for powder yet. So let me just, I'm going to put a little bit of this cream blush right here. And I just love the size and how quick and easy it is to apply your blush with this. Okay, and then I have one more, and this one is pretty new, but I've been using it almost non-stop since I got it for cream bronzer, you know, cream contour, and that is the Rephr 37. So this one is, yeah, in the new set that they just came out with. I'm not sure if it's still 50% off, but it might be. Anyhow, this one, when I first got it, it reminded me of the Hakuhodo J210, but since I've washed it, it really fluffed up and it doesn't feel as dense, and it really reminds me of the Koyudo Yoshiki brush. It's a little bit, you know, flatter, but I used it the same way, and it's, yeah, it's really good. It's softer on the face, and, you know, it's going to be a little bit less specific, but you know, when it comes to a brush being used like this, I try not to use brushes that are too fragile or too expensive, just because you're going to be really wearing a brush down by using it for cream bronzer, because you're going to have to wash it more. And with Rephr brushes, I feel like they're so well made. I don't have any shedding with any of my Rephr brushes, so I'm comfortable using this for cream products, and it's been working out really good. Also, it's good for, I'll use it for a blush on this side. It's really good for cream blush as well. So yeah, Rephr 37. This is my favorite brush of the new set so far. Yeah, I'm really liking this one. And then just really quick, I'm going to go over the brushes that I use to contour with powder. This is not a step that I do too often, but I have a couple that I think are, one is going to be maybe a little bit harder to get, well, anyways, okay. One that I've been using for some time, and I really, really like this for this purpose, is the Hakuhodo B512. I know I talk about this brush a lot, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but of the different Hakuhodo brushes that have this angle that are made of the squirrel and goat hair, this is the better, to me, the best size for contouring with, because it's kind of on the smaller side. Like the 5544 is bigger and not as dense. This one's a little bit more dense, and the size fits into this area better. So I think if you're gonna choose a powder contour brush from Hakuhodo, I think this is probably the best one that I've tried. So that's the B512. And then this one is a little bit easier to find and not nearly as expensive, and that is the Chikuhodo T2. Yeah, T2. This is made of Saikoho goat hair, and for those of you who are not familiar with the Takumi series, these brushes are just amazing. The handle is pretty basic, it's lightweight, and it's, you know, it's a medium length, kind of on the shorter side, but the hairs are of like some of the best quality goat hairs that I have. They're very soft. This is a fairly dense brush, but when you wash it, it fluffs up so beautifully. And this is an amazing brush. Also, if you're starting out with bronzer, this is it's a really good brush to contour in a more subtle way. So I'll show you what I mean. And like, it's not going to really give you like super defined features, but it'll contour, yeah, in the little bit more gradual way. So I don't know if you can see the difference there. It's also good for kind of like warming up the complexion. If you want to just add a little bit of color to your face, you can kind of like stamp it all over like this. So yeah, this one, with the exchange rate, I believe I don't think it's even $60. So for a brush of this quality it's a really good deal. So that is the T2, and I believe this one's always in stock on CD Japan, Fude Japan, and Fude Beauty, and you can get it on Beautylish as well. So yeah, this one's a lot easier to get, and I think it's a perfect alternative to the Hakuhodo mixed hair angle brushes. Those are my favorite brushes to contour with. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.